Good morning, everyone. My name's Ronnie. Grateful believer in Jesus Christ, walking in recovery from drugs and alcohol. Um, this morning, I was talking to someone from Woodhaven, and he touched my heart by asking me, you know, will my family be ever able to forgive me? And it touched my heart because I remember my first year of recovery. I was looking for forgiveness. I just did 100 days worth of treatment, and I was really working on myself. I wanted that instant gratification of everybody to forgive me. Well, um, it took a very long time. I couldn't expect, like, hey, I'm out of treatment. Forgive me for 20 years of mistakes I made in addiction. And I couldn't expect that. I was going to be let down because it takes a very long time to, because in addiction, I said I'm going to get sober. There was a lot of times that I said I was sober and I wasn't. I really, and I started thinking to myself, do I really deserve to be forgiven along my journey of my first year of recovery? And I told this guy that I was talking to this morning, I said, man, your actions in recovery will speak louder than words, meaning, going to meetings and giving back and all that, your family will start to see that, you're different. Like, the biggest apology that you can give is change behavior, not words. Like, I always try to use my words, and my actions then add up with my words or anything like that. But when I started working on the steps, which helped me a lot, like, man, those steps really saved my life because it made me be able to make amends. Walking up to, like, family members and friends that I hurt along the way of my addiction. I would, working on myself, so I would walk up to them, and make amends and say I'm sorry. Not expecting forgiveness, I can't expect that. But I can acknowledge that I was wrong and what part I played in it. And it helped me a lot, And I didn't say, hey, you can't walk up to somebody and say, hey, I'm sorry that I hurt you real bad, and then expect to be forgiven. I don't deserve that yet, you know what I mean? It took 20 years to break all these relationships. I can't expect the first year to be forgiven, It's like, hey, now I'm sober, forgive me for it wasn't me. And you just take responsibility of your actions. And every person I hurt along the way, that meant the world to me. I walked up to each and every one of them when the timing was right, and I apologize for the part I played in hurting them, and I didn't look at them after I told them. I didn't look at them and say, hey, you gonna say I'm forgiven? I didn't do that. I acknowledged the part I played, and I left it at that, and I hurt a lot of people in my addiction, and it goes back to God's love. Like, I hated God for the longest time of how things turned out. in my life, and this is why I didn't believe in God. I was I hated Him all my life, but God could handle that, and He still loved me. Like God took the chance on me, a fool like me that hated Him, and He saved my life. He still loved me at my worst. Even there was times I even cursed out God, like, why is this happening? And then along this journey, I said everything that was happening bad in my life was because of my choices, not God's choices. God gives us free will, and I thought I thought I didn't deserve God's grace along this journey, but He loves each and every one of us. Like those scars that He had, Jesus had them scars. I thought I wasn't worthy of them scars on His hands by the nails, and I was wrong. He loves each and every one of us. Jesus died on that cross looking at me, looking at you, thinking about me, thinking about you. And, He paid the ultimate cost. Like, when I want to give up, and stuff like that, I just think about, even when I don't feel like my confidence isn't right that day, and I feel like I'm unworthy of everything that He's given me along this journey, I think He paid that ultimate cost for me and for everyone. He paid His life. He paid our worth. And He thinks everyone out there, He thinks the world of us. And how could I give up when all that He's given me, and it keeps me going every day? Like, man will let you down. I will let you down. Like, I'm perfectly imperfect. I have so many flaws and stuff, and I let down God on a daily basis, but God is perfect, and He will never let you down. Like, it took me a long time to be able to forgive my dad, and then I started understanding for my dad not being there, and me being a little boy and sitting there waiting at the door, waiting for him to come pick me up every other weekend, and most of the time he wouldn't show up. But along this journey, how could I hate my dad? Like, my dad is human, he has flaws just like every one of us. And to that little boy that was inside of me, my dad was my hero when I was a kid. He's still my hero. I find peace with hanging out with my dad now. I don't look at what he's done or what, because we're all human. And my dad has struggles I don't know about. He's not ready to open up fully about them, and that's okay. But God taught me the way God loved me through my addiction and still saving my life. I love my dad, and I let him know I'm there if he ever needs to talk. Like, I know how to love my dad now, and being able to forgive my dad for not being there when I was a little kid has helped me, because my dad let me down. Like, and I let a lot of people down. I did the same thing, but God's love, I don't know where it comes from, but God has never let me down. God is a Father that never gives up. And everyone that that hurt me along the way, how can I not forgive them? I let people down. I did the same thing. Like they say, hurt people hurt people. And I was hurting people along the way in my addiction because I was hurting inside. And then I started recovering as soon as I started talking about that stuff. I I couldn't run away from my past. I couldn't just bury something down inside, you know? I believe I started recovering as soon as I started opening up what had hurt me along the way, you know? And talking about my dad, that was a huge one. Um, but God saved my life, and you know, after hating God for so long, He still took a chance on a fool like me. Taking a chance on me, taking a chance on I could turn Him down after He saved my life. I could. After He saved my life from an overdose, I could have turned my back on Him after I got sober. And He still took a chance on me. And my life is more fulfilled now than it's ever been. No drug or drink has ever made me feel the way I do with God. And that's what I need. I'm not the perfect Christian. I'm the kind of Christian that needs God in his life. I like to say, just to keep a lid on it. And He's blessed me in so many ways. It's a kind of love that it's a kind of love that I couldn't earn. And I definitely, if I gotten everything I deserve, I should be dead right now. Hating God, hurting everybody in my family because of my addiction. And it was just because I was hurting inside. And God has healed my broken heart. My heart was shattered. So, with that being said, if God forgave everything, God has seen the worst and the best of me. And my worst times and those conversations and the things I did in addiction, and He still loves me. We are children of God, and He treats us He treats us like His kids. He will sacrifice anything for us, and it's just a beautiful thing how it's turned out. And I don't know, it breaks me down to tears sometimes talking about, but those people, that it's a blessing to be able to, it took me a couple years, but my family, they now say I love you. Another blessing, my nephew, in my addiction, he removed himself from my life because I was such a mess. And now today, like yesterday, I get a phone call from him at school, and he puts me on speakerphone, and he's at lunch with all of his friends, and he said, "Everybody say hi to my Uncle Ronnie." Them are the blessings. Look, now I understand what blessings are. I was always chasing money. I was always chasing the wrong things. I always thought in my addiction, I wanted fast money. So I would always play the scratch off lottery tickets and wanted to win that money. And I always looked at it when I would win $50, I'd be like, well, that's a blessing. Money and objects are not a blessing. What's a blessing is getting your family back, getting that love back that you thought you would never have again for yourself, waking up with a smile and not dope sick. Them are the real blessings. I don't have everything, but everything, what means everything to me is having my family back, being able to talk to people that I hurt so bad and having a real conversation with them and letting them know I love them, being able to hug my dad tighter, one of them big hugs that that mean a lot, being able to hold him and be there for my dad. God taught me, really, I was really messed up in my thinking where I really thought I knew what love was, but I didn't know what love was until I met God. Until I started having them conversations with Him, and um, God really taught me what love is, and now I look at it, every relationship that I have today is a reflection on how I feel inside. And today I love myself. Yeah, every day is not perfect. Life isn't supposed to be perfect. Um, but on my tough days, God, I even look in the mirror sometimes when I'm having a real rough day and I say, God, I need you to fight for me today. And He does that for me every day. I just reached my 32 months the other day, and He's fought for me every day. And I just give Him my heart, and that's all He wants. He just wants your heart, and wants to love on you like a parent does, and be there during your worst times. And it's a blessing, that everything. And I believe now, with 32 months sobriety, I don't expect it, but I talked to everyone that I hurt along the way today. I don't know if they forgive me or not, but I talked to every one of them, and them were the things that were important to me, that by my choices in addiction, I took them away. And every day, um, sometimes when I want to use, I play that video all the way through, that I could lose all this if I use that one time. And it was always one time, one more time, one more time, And I just stopped myself. Now I have the gift of thinking about my choices now. There was once upon a time I didn't have that. And I've come too far to give up. I don't let the hard days win. Life does get tough. Like, recovery is not perfect by any means. But I just reached to God, and God, like I said before, I thought I was so far from grace that there was no way. But if you're breathing today, you're never far from grace. Too far. And He just wants you to come to Him. That's why He sent His Son to die a gruesome death, to die for our sins. And I was surrounded by sin and addiction, and now I look at it, it's not just about staying sober, but how can I go back to my old lifestyle with staying sober and then go back and have a conversation with God? I can't do it. Every day I strive to be just like Jesus was, Jesus was in the human flesh, and I can relate to Him, But I just want to love like He does. Like, I get mad at all sometimes at people, but then I think to myself, okay, these other people forgave me. God forgave me. How can I not forgive them? How can I be mad at them? And now today being sober, I love and understand myself, that the only time I'm mad at somebody is how I feel inside of myself. And on my great days, that I'm feeling great, my confidence is up, I love everybody. Like, I just want to, I want to help the broken feel less broken. That's what I strive to do every day, because I know what it's like to lose everything in your life and to be able to get everything back. But with that being said, clear eyes, full hearts can't lose. I love you guys, and I wouldn't be here without you. So have a blessed day. Bye.